I'd like to welcome you all to the roundtable of June 21st. I'd like to start with a quote by Shakespeare, who said, "Action is eloquence." I don't entirely agree. I really don't. I would say that stupid action is not eloquence. Cowardly action, not eloquence. Bold action is eloquence. And I want to start with a story about bold action that really wraps up everything I want to say today. I want to start with a story of one of the most famous people of the 20th century, Mendel Berlinger. Everyone know Mendel Berlinger? You should. Born in 1908 in a flat on 118th Street, not too far from here. Mendel Berlinger was meant for show business. His mother forced it on him. She didn't give him a break. Bit part in Rebecca's Sunnybrook Farms. A bit part in The Mark of Zorro. A bit part in The Perils of Pauline. It seemed he was destined for stardom, but by the time he was a teenager, nothing. It all fizzled out. He was nothing more than a dancer for a play called Florodora on Broadway in 1920, and barely a teenager. Just before opening night of Florodora, when it seemed he had a career for obscurity, his mother tapped him on the shoulder, said, "Mendel, when you start your dance routine, what leg do you start with?" Was it "My right leg, Mom?" She said, "I'll tell you what, when you start your routine today, start with your left leg." He said, "What? My left leg? I'll be out of sync with everyone in the entire dance troupe. I'll look like a fool. The entire audience will fall off their chair laughing. Mom, I can't do that." She said, "Mendel, I'm your mother. You damn well better do it." Can you imagine this kid? Barely 13 years old, breathing on stage. In a few seconds, he's about to start with a leg no one else is starting with. He's about to be a laughing stock. He's about to have people fall off their chairs laughing. And he had to make a decision. Start with my left leg or not. The music began, and in that few seconds of time, he made a decision. I'll start with my left leg. And he did. And he was out of sync with absolutely everyone in that dance troupe. And he looked like a fool. And the audience fell off their chairs laughing at this kid out of step with everyone in the dance troupe. The end of it, J.J. Schubert, the great director, producer of Florodora, walked up to this kid and said, "Son, what happened out there today?" He got nervous. He said, "Mr. Schubert, you know, when I started my routine, I got nervous. I started with my left foot." And the great J.J. Schubert stopped him in mid-sentence and said, "Son, can you do it again?" And he did it again, and again, and again, and again. And eventually he took his vaudeville comedy to radio, and then in 1948, with a new medium of television, he took it to TV on Texaco Star Theater. He was their first host. He was a star. His irreverent, crazy, high-energy style got everyone in America watching. 80% of all televisions were focused on a man they referred to as Mr. Television. A matter of fact, on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m., the water level in the United States dropped. You know why? Because no one went to the bathroom until exactly 9 p.m. No one was going to go to the bathroom till the Texas Star Theater was over. Of course, by then, Mendel Berlinger changed his name to Milton Berle. You know, every single great human being who ever lived, at one point in his life, started with his left foot. That's what separated every one of them. That's what separates our next speaker. For 18 years, Yoav Sisley went out there marketing vodka and spirits. He was good at it. But then in 2011, he found the courage to start his own vodka. Oh, he made a good product. Quadruple distilled from corn, bottled in Rochester. He had a good product. But then he chose to lead with his left foot. He gave it an outrageous name. He put on it an outrageous logo. And when people first looked at it, they said, "What?" And then they started laughing. And lo and behold, he brought fun back into an industry that had long ago lost any sense of fun. You know, it's amazing the dent in the universe you can make when you lead with your left foot. Yoav Sisson.
So, when you hear the word balls, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Fun. Going crazy.
Fun. Anything else? So the word balls is like multi-dimension. There is a confidence, there is sports. I mean, there are about 170 different sports that play balls, according to Wikipedia. So there is many things that come. There's also obviously the sexuality, but all of that is like a multi-dimension. So that's how Balls Vodka really was born. It's supposed to work. Okay, there's no balls here.
You may need to find them, Yoav. There you go.
Okay, so Balls Vodka, it is among the different, a lot of vodkas out in the market. So we try to find, we basically found ourselves in something totally different. We started a new arena, just like as Steve said, the fun part, the tradition. So if you look, I mean, I'm sure all of you, try different vodka, like different vodka, but Balls is like in a different section. It's distinctive. And this is where we are. So we are fun, we are tradition, and we are just in a growing industry where vodka is probably one of the most popular spirit in the world today. And it still keep on growing, although it's a very saturated kind of area, but there is a uniqueness. You have to come into this area, into this spirit with something very unique, and that's what we try to do. So it's growing. The price range of 20 to 30 is growing by about 11.4%, and it's going in America more also in volume and in dollars. So let's talk about Balls Vodka. Let's just give you a bit more. What we are. We call it balls because we got the balls really to go out and come with something totally new. It's made exclusive from corn. It's 100% corn. We distill it in the Midwest. We do bottle it in different parts of the country. We bottle it up in Rochester. We bottle it up in Florida. We just finished production in California. It's a 6-time distilled, and the most important thing is delicious. These are the most important things for us. So, and I think as a testimony for that, I'll tell you a story. We do a lot of tastings in stores and other places just to get feedback from the people, because for a few years we were more in kind of research trying to find out what's the optima, what's the best way really to make the vodka acceptable and how people like it. We made a few changes. But I don't know if you guys know, but Mark Forgione is one of the Iron Chef. And one day, it's an high-end restaurant down in Tribeca, and one day I get a email, asking me if they can taste my vodka. I said, of course. Someone asked me to taste the vodka, I go and taste it. So I went, the beverage director tasted it, and then they liked it and said to me, but wait, I like it, but we can't buy it yet because we need to taste other vodka. I said, okay. 3 weeks later, I get a letter, email, and he says to me, Bols came on top and would like to work with Bols Vodka. So I asked him, how did you make decision? Why decide this Bols Vodka over other vodkas? So he said, we do, and this is a very high-end restaurant, we do a blind tasting. So we tasted 7 different vodkas in blind tasting, and the chef, and the sous chef, and the servers, and the beverage director, they all sit around table and do it. And Bols Vodka was the one who was chosen there. So I took it as a compliment because after all, Marco Gioni restaurant, it's an amazing restaurant. So it is a place where I thought it's a good place to be in. And then we have, so if you try to summarize what's Bols Vodka, you see it's fun, confidence, honest, irreverent, classy, and premium vodka. We put Bols Vodka in the premium category. So we currently do what's called Bols of all sizes. We have 5 sizes, which goes from the Super Bols, which is the Magnum, Big Bols, Traveler Bols, which made it lately based on the request from people, which is more for travel or going to the park, which you can use because it's plastic and it's kind of it was called a flask. And we have the small balls and we have the power balls, which is a little one. These ones, it's called power balls, but it's also called emergency balls because people keep it in the pocket for emergency. You never know when you need it. So that's it. Now I've been in this business for over 25 years. I did a lot of. I'm more on the side of marketing, sales. I did a lot of. I worked with a company, did a lot of sales, so I worked in the streets. I knew the people. I knew. Work with customers, work with clients, and I just decided one day, as Steve said, I need something more. There is nothing in the market that's really ballsy. Something is not just another. It's not just another vodka. It's not another wine. Say, just have the name, your name, or something. We need something more multi-dimension. Something that has more than one. Just quality. But to create something that is fun, but also it is good quality. So it took it about 10, 11 months to really get the quality part, and then we worked on the rest, which is the presentation. So what are we going to do? I mean, what's our strategy going forward? Right now we finished what is called the research part. We have a product, we have a system, we have a production, so we can, with the right resources, we can really blossom and grow now. We have all the basic stuff in place, ready to go. So we're thinking about, we decide to go and we do a lot of social events. So the first 2 years we want to concentrate really in 2 markets, the New York, New Jersey, and we're going to add to that also Indiana. And you ask me why Indiana? Because Indiana has a university called Ball State University. So we figure it might be, even though it's out of the, it's not one of the places where you go usually to sell first in America, but it has some convention. We thought maybe it would be a good place to be and to start in the marketing area. Then we go down and we start growing into Massachusetts, Florida, and Texas. And this is what we're planning or want to do in the next 5 years, where in addition to that, obviously there are some windows of opportunities that are coming up that we'll take advantage of them based on the resources that we need to invest in them. From the experience we have up to now, we have distributors, customers, retailers. We have people love the fun. People love that there's something totally different, something that's you don't see in the market. I mean, there are a lot of vodkas. We saw the different vodkas. I always say, and I did an experiment when I started the prototype. I had a bottle of Bols vodka. I put it on a table in a party. Didn't open it. Kept it this way. And I was just listening. For an hour and a half, people just had fun, just with the name, just with the packaging, with everything. So it was very interesting to see how this is probably the only vodka in the world you can have fun before you drink, while you drink, and after you drink, which is obvious. So that's the key. You have to do something different. So we do have something very unique here, something that can grow. So let's do hear about the brand, see and experience. I'll go through each one of them to see. So here about the brand. So we have a very active social media. We, as a resource, I'm a great believer in social media. I think it's a great way to get to as many people and communicate with them. We do have a truck. Unfortunately, this truck is we wrapped. It's up in Buffalo, so not too many people see it. Part of my dream, and I'm working on that, is to have a truck here in New York running around. Then not 50,000 people, but 50 million people will see it. So this will be a good thing. And we do some product placements. Not a lot, but even though we're a very small company, very small, we get a lot of requests, and this happened to be with Michael Cera. We did a product placement in one of these short movies that he did. We had in The Punisher, we had some other movies that do, again, it's kind of product placement, you don't know until you see it, what's really happened. Experience, we do a lot of, this is in-store tasting, so we have some, this one of our boss girls who will help us with doing the tasting. We do, right now, it's something that's coming up next week, and if anyone wants to go and can get you the tickets probably, it's called The Big Brother. It's a reality show. I never watched it, but it's a big thing here in the US. So we're sponsoring of the party. During Christmas, we had this, not our guys, but this is in the store. They're just people dressed together, and it's just a fun thing. And we do a lot of sports. So we had different sports event that we participate, and we got the balls there, so we have it. What will happen in the future? Some ideas that we are looking into. So we have different ideas how to grow, what to grow and how to do. And again, as soon as we have the resources for that. So we have the Balls 54, which is one of the products we're going to develop. We have the new alcohol, we have Crystal Ball, which should be a very high-end product, like very limited, very specific, very special product. Right now we're in premium. That's probably be an ultra premium, which should be one extension of the product we're going to do. We're going to do probably like a limited edition for different, because we're in sports a lot, Super Bowls, the World Cup, all these different events. And we have like one of the things I would love to do, the Balls Flash Mob, which would be fun, all the songs that are just coming up and making it. And it's always a question, Balls was a human, what will he say? Who will he be? It's a question I do ask people. It's very interesting to see, because if you want anyone to be representing you, who would that be the right person to do that? And we get different answer, which is very interesting. And the product placement that we do. Then we did also, we do something called Balls Around the World, which is, if you look at the Instagram now, it's running right now. And we did, it's a different part of the world. Right now we're in Asia, we did the US, we did Europe, like this from Rome. And we get people send us pictures, or since it's in the beginning, I do most of it myself, but we hope to grow this way. So we even climbed the Kilimanjaro. This is me and two high school friends of mine climbed all the way up to the Kilimanjaro, and we brought the balls with us, and we had it. So it was an amazing thing. This is in Burgundy, and this is in the Dead Sea in Israel. This is in California, which is very interesting. But if you look, I don't know if you guys look at Instagram, but Instagram is, it's running right now. So what will happen with the resources? That's what our forecast. So we look at basically the first 4 years, which will be a loss, which will be that's what the money we need for. Where we're looking into the 5th year to be in the green, right, or the black. And I like the green part. So we'll do the green. And this is represent about 56,000 cases. So this is our goal to get up to, and it's just going up as we go along. Now, when we get up to that, then we become part of the possible exits. It's either we continue just grow ourselves, or at that kind of level, you start becoming a target of one of the big companies to be purchased. And that's the good, I mean the good, bad, and the ugly. It's very good because they have the more resources, they have the power, they really go and grow it much higher and much better than we can do it ourselves usually. On the other hand, you never know. It's just something you might want to continue. So this is like different doing M&A. This is like different acquisition that mergers or buyout are done by different companies. So if you see, it's but if you look at here, it's Avion Tequila, it's 80,000 cases. They were sold for about $80,000, $1 million. They weren't sold, but they got a partnership with Finora Card. And then you have 65,000 cases. The Campari bought them for $100 million. So there is a big upside here that you can go. The investment is small. I know that Eddie, for example, which was just sold in August 2015, they had an investment of about $18 million, and they sold it for about $490 million, with the numbers running. So this is the idea of the possibility of exit that we can look into it. Now we're seeking $2 million, and which basically, as you saw before, it will fuel the first 48 months for the first 4 years, anticipating the 5th year to really go and start profit. And that's how we're going to break is between marketing, inventory, talent, and working capital. The key here will be obviously the talent. And I think now it's time for maybe a good cocktail.